Well, I want to respect everybody's time this wonderful Saturday morning and welcome you to our virtual series, Coffee with the Authors. It began in person long ago, far away, but we maintained it throughout the pandemic. And so hopefully you all have your coffee. I'm in summer in Phoenix. It is an iced coffee, most definitely. I'm Kristen O'Shaughnessy. I'm the operations coordinator here at Biaz. And the first portion of today's presentation with Dr. All is going to be recorded. This is why sometimes cameras can be a little like, maybe I don't want my camera on, I'm not ready. But the latter half, when we have our Q&A time, that will be we'll turn the recording off so you can have a little more freedom with that. And at that time, you can choose to either unmute your microphone or you can type questions into the chat and they can be relayed that way if you prefer. If you're worried about forgetting a question during the presentation, feel free to practice the first part of that WHOPPER acronym, which is to write it on either on a piece of paper or in the chat. And that way we will definitely come back to it. So at this point, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sherrie All. She is joining us, and she's an international keynote speaker, writer, licensed clinical neurorehabilitation psychologist, a brain health expert, and the owner and director of the Chicago Center for Cognitive Wellness. I'm going to put a link to her website where you can find out more about the book that we are talking about today, The Neuroscience of Memory, 7 Skills to Optimize Your Brain Power, Improve Memory, and Stay Sharp at Any Age. And with that, Dr. All, the floor is yours.
What a wonderful introduction, Kristen. And it's so thrilling to see that everyone that you're familiar with WHOPPER. You've been reading the book. And it looks like not the only one. So thank you all for having me. It's my pleasure to be with Biaz. I had a speaking engagement with all of you back in May, and that was really lovely. And it's so great to be back. I hear it's hot in Arizona this time of year, and I hope you're all being safe too with some of the new Delta variant. And so, but thank you for spending some time with me today. So I'll do a little bit of a reading, and I'm going to pop around just a little bit in kind of the introductory chapters. And if you like listening to the sound of my voice and prefer an audiobook, the audiobook drops tomorrow with Audible and other outlets. So I had the pleasure of narrating it, and so that was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of start at the beginning and pop around a little bit. So do you have a terrible memory? Would others agree, or do they say it's all in your head? Pun intended. Whether you legitimately have a terrible memory or not, I'm guessing by the fact that this book is in your hands that you're concerned about your memory in some way. I imagine at the very least that you're curious, in search of answers, perhaps even frustrated. Maybe things aren't what they used to be, or new challenges are arising. So this is the neuroscience of memory. And so maybe you've always had a terrible memory. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you recently sustained a concussion or went through chemo. There's no faster way to become incredibly aware of your memory glitches than to experience a period of time when your brain doesn't work like it used to. I can relate. Pregnancy, sleepless nights, newborn, anyone. Maybe you've been diagnosed with MS or Parkinson's disease, or you got bit by that ill-fated tick or contracted Lyme's disease. Now you're left wondering, what's in store for me if I lose my memory skills? Maybe you're feeling your old bones and noticing the changes that come naturally with age. But understandably, this has you worried. Like many people who visit my office, you likely feel scared. At the very least, I'm sure it's safe to say that you're not satisfied with your memory and you're looking for some solutions. Well, you've come to the right place. Why neuroscience? Not just another memory book. there are a lot of memory books that are out there. I'll just interject, and we'll talk more about the development in a minute. But part of why I was drawn to this is because over the last 2 decades, the field of neuroscience has been turned upside down by new research showing that the adult brain does grow and change in positive ways throughout the entire lifespan, molding itself based on how we use it. This new science has, in turn, dramatically changed the way that we understand memory and the approaches that are needed to maximize its functions. Drawing on the latest neuroscience, I will help you. Drawing on the latest neuroscience to help you avoid futility in your memory enhancement efforts, I will guide you in understanding the latest evidence about how your brain works, which will help you effectively guide your efforts towards your personal memory goals. You'll learn how your physical states can enhance or impair your memory, providing you with the motivation that you might need to eat your vegetables, get plenty of sleep, and move your body like the experts tell you to do. You'll learn the biology behind why moments of intense emotions either highlight or hijack your memories. This knowledge will give you control. You will also learn and practice tried and true memory techniques like Whopper, all while learning how to best operate the organ running the whole show. Metacognition. The neuro or brain plus the science elements of this book are useful because when you know how your memory actually works, you're better equipped to use it. Research in the field of cognitive rehabilitation, this is a set of evidence-based interventions to improve memory and other cognitive skills like attention in people who've experienced a decline due to injury or disease. This research has shown that when people understand how their brains work, they're better able to control and improve its function. This metacognitive approach, which literally translates thinking about thinking, results in the best outcomes for patients when these rehabilitation interventions are put to the test. Interventions that do not include this type of neuroscience-informed education result in weaker outcomes. So take charge of your memory. Enhancing your memory with neuroscience puts you in the driver's seat to change and grow your brain and memory. So let's get started. Is this the right book for me? Whatever your reason for coming to today's program or picking up this book, from whether you want to sharpen your skills to overcome a decline or you're working to ward off Alzheimer's disease, you have come to the right place. The promise of neuroscience is here to help you. And I'm here to do what I love to do best, which is to teach you about neuroscience in what I hope is a fun and relatable way. Why learn about neuroscience? Well, knowledge about neuroscience will help you more effectively guide your efforts as you work to improve your memory skills and change your life. Throughout this book, I will teach you how memory works in your brain, highlighting the myriad of ways that it can go awry. And I'll guide you in getting things back on track. I will share with you my hopefulness for your memory and help you understand the realities of your brain, along with the innovations of the past 20 years that have, like never before, expanded the optimism for memory improvements. My goal is to help you use this information as a guide and a motivator as you practice new behaviors that are proven to improve memory in everyday life. I believe this book is useful for anyone wishing to improve their memory. So even if you give this as a gift, it's not going to be, it shouldn't be taken as an insult, right? That said, I particularly intended to reach 4 main groups of people. These are people that my staff and I work with on a daily basis. And so they include, number 1, adults or adolescents who have experienced a sudden or drastic decline in thinking skills due to illness or injury, including concussion, traumatic brain injury, stroke, or even the early stages of dementia. 2, adults noticing slow changes in their thinking who are afraid that they're starting down the path of dementia. And you could probably be in more than one of these categories, right? Number 3, people with complicated lives, often with high-powered jobs or demanding family situations, who are sensing that their brains could be more effective, but you're also feeling frustrated and therefore want proven techniques to achieve this. And number 4, people who panic nearly every time they forget something, but maybe they've been told that their panic is a little bit more exaggerated or doesn't quite match the cognitive profile, and that there may not be any medical reason to support their concerns. But we know that the panic itself can get in the way of thinking skills. So people in all 4 categories show up to our offices every day. Those over 50 are typically convinced that they're getting dementia. Those under 50 have often either experienced a concussion or fear that they may have ADHD. Whatever your reason for picking up this book, I believe you're in the right place. And my aim is to help you understand your brain so that you can best guide its function, no matter what's going on under the hood. So get more accurate about your memory. Memory is impacted by a plethora of emotional and behavioral factors. Most factors are benign and addressable. Some are not. Some are more serious. My aim is to prove to you via neuroscience that you can struggle with your memory for a variety of reasons, not because you're stupid or deep in the throes of dementia necessarily. I'm emphasizing this because I know how often people jump to conclusions, and I hear these fears on a daily basis, both from people who have normal cognition and from people who have diagnosed changes. There's a lot of exaggeration and kind of overgeneralization of memory fears that really gets in our way. My goal is to remove the phrase, "my memory sucks," from your vocabulary and replace it with something that's more accurate, like, "I didn't pay close enough attention to what you said," or "I'm feeling really anxious right now and I can't concentrate," or "my doctor says that the part of my brain responsible for memory recall is impaired. I can still learn things. I just need to take some notes to reference later." Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your attentiveness.